The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Hey there, it's Tony here, and welcome to the Coach Curl podcast, episode 133. Do you take motivation for granted? Stay tuned, you'll find out why you shouldn't.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul. I see you. All right, Charlie. Finish on. Coach Carl. Great job, guys.
Coach Carl, we love you!
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here, and welcome to episode 133 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today, it's all about not taking motivation for granted. And one of the reasons that this podcast is front and center in my mind at the moment is because I see so many people accepting the fact of their own levels of motivation, that they either sit there and say they're not motivated to do whatever it is that they want to be doing, or that they will be motivated at some later stage in their life, some stage when they decide it's ready, willing and able for them to get motivated around what it is that they want to do. And while others say that they're motivated to do a good job, that they're motivated to do whatever, to fulfill the obligations of their role. And in each and every one of these cases, it's the acceptance of this motivation will come when it's ready, or that we're taking it for granted that we already have it. And it's interesting when you start observing the motivation of others, the language that people use, for example, gives you an understanding of where their motivations lie. So, for example, some people just want to get through the day. I just want to survive the day. It's going to be a shit of a day, and I just want to survive the day, and maybe you work with people like that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But people that just see every day as this battle and this quest for survival, as opposed to churning out and reaching out and yearning and driving for something that they really want. There's another group of people that say they'll start tomorrow. I'll start losing weight tomorrow. I'll start my exercise regime tomorrow. I'll start being a better employee tomorrow. I'll start being a better leader tomorrow. Everything is all about tomorrow and future orientated. And we're missing the opportunities and the potential for today. And then we also have, the people that are motivated in some respects, that they're openly looking towards the weekend, or they're looking towards that holiday that they've booked in Bali or Thailand or, the US, or a European vacation, that they've got this thing that they're working, that they think that they believe that they're working towards. So they're openly looking towards the weekend. They're openly looking to go see their team play. Whatever it is that they've got this. So, and when these things are stated by people, they believe. It says a lot about them. It says a lot about them, and it says in many ways how they are wired for motivation. They're whether it's a future tense sort of a thing, that they'll think that motivation will just come, or that they're just looking for some of those broader based things, material aspects or experiences that they want to have within their life. I remember being fresh from school, here in Brisbane, and I used to spend a lot of time at Queensland University, also at QUT, which was QIT in those days. And I met a lot of people at university events whose main priority seemed to be to chase potential partners and drink a lot. That was their sole semblance of why they seemed to be at university. That was their motivation. And at the time, all of that sounded like a fantastic idea for them. And, let's face it, who argues with a good party? I haven't met too many people that says, oh, no, I'd rather not go to a good party. It's always, it's always part of who we are as people to engage socially. But when it's your own primary reason for being, that's when you've really got to question. So in those days, I'm talking about numerous toga parties. Some of them were just huge, There was always heaps of people there. Drinks just seemed to flow endlessly, And what's not to love about that? It was good times. Good times if you got an invite, of course. But once again, if that was your primary motivator for being there, it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. And secondly, it won't allow you to achieve anything of real value, anything that you can hang your hat on in future life. Now, what you end up with it is some memories of some good times and some fun, or maybe not, depending on how much you drank. Or maybe you got lucky and you met someone who's now part of your future network who is the old school tie scenario. I don't know. Maybe you got lucky. Maybe you're able to build some relationships that have transgressed, that have moved into the more mature world of business. Maybe I don't know. But it's really to be at university with the sole motivation to drink, party, and chase women. For example, I'm a male. I'll speak from my perspective, or the male perspective, but also conversely, if you're a female looking for a potential partner, it was not sustainable. And ultimately it doesn't drive or build success, because sooner or later you have to leave university, and with that, that motivation for being there goes as well. So it gets taken away from you in so many respects. And this is where the problem lies, because motivation is based on something, in this case, that can be easily taken away from you. And that's when it becomes a problem. It's like when you're at work and your boss comes in and says, oh, look, I need to get this done. There's a bonus in it for you for X amount of dollars. If you can get this done by such and such a date. So all of a sudden you've got some extrinsic motivation. You've got something that drives you towards that, which is fantastic. Now imagine if the boss comes in and says, yeah, look, I shouldn't have told you about the reward. My boss has just taken it away, or the bonus. So people striving and motivated by bonus, for example, and I'm sure that there's many, many people out there that have had bonuses taken away or bonus criteria changed. So all of a sudden with that goes your motivation for doing the job. So if that was your only motivator, my God, you're in trouble, because all of a sudden that motivation's been taken away. But really, for people and humans, motivation is a raw ingredient of any kind of success. So it's part of the ingredients. It's part of the mix for you to be successful. It's a key ingredient, yes, but it's one that you need to control. It's one that you need to have intrinsically, as opposed to some of that extrinsic stuff, because it really needs to be in your control, and you need to be able to adjust it up or down. And so I don't really care whether you're studying for a test, to get some sort of qualification. I don't care if you're studying for how to become a citizen of the country that you've migrated to. Motivation is crucial for any kind of achievement. So, I'm talking some sense here. Some of the people in previous leadership teams to me used to call me Captain Obvious, because sometimes I just mention the obvious. But it's really interesting, because sometimes the obvious isn't obvious to everyone. And if it's so obvious, why aren't we doing it? So sometimes, yes, I mention the obvious. I don't mind being called Captain Obvious, because sometimes you need that person to point out the obvious, especially when it's in relation to yourself. And it's easy for us to assume that we're already motivated, right? Or we believe that we'll get motivated when the time is right. But if you don't practice on getting focused and getting structure in your life around a goal or a dream or a process that you're wanting to build, if you don't do those things, if you don't practice that, ultimately motivation will be lacking. And it will be driven by external forces, whether it's a deadline to something coming up, or whether it's that bonus that the boss is going to throw your way, or whether it's your partner getting on your case because you haven't mowed the yard. You know, ultimately, if your motivation is lacking, you are going to be driven by those external forces. And those external forces aren't the motivation that you need. You might be living in a fool's paradise, that fool's paradise that tells us all, hey, I'm doing all right. And maybe you are. Good luck. Where you are is awesome, but it's not necessarily where you want to be. So what got you to where you are now won't get you to where you want to be. So there is a vast difference. So you've got to understand that that requires a different level, a different focus, a different structure around motivation. So it's not something that we can take for granted. At the very least, you can not look at what you're already doing and conclude the fact that because you've achieved a level of success that you're motivated. In some cases, but people believe that they're motivated, that they're actually, but when really they're compelled to do something. So people that are getting up early, for example, to get into the job that they're not really keen to do will say, well, I'm motivated. I get out of bed. Well, congratulations, you got out of bed. Get up, go to work. You have to complete that project that you've got at home because your partner's on your case, or whatever the case is. You're not motivated. You're just being compelled to do that. And often you're being compelled to do that because of the fear of the consequences of not doing that. Now, that's not motivation that's going to drive you into a lasting success or the greatest potential or whatever words that any sort of the gurus want to use. That's not the level of motivation that's going to get you there. It may be part of it, but it's not the level that you need. So what you need to be doing is be focused on exactly what it is that you want to be working on. And in the words of Tony Robbins, you know, I'm not a Tony Robbins fan, as you know, but he talks about focus that brings feelings, because it's those feelings that will drive continual success, or in this case, continued motivation. So you need to be able to focus in and create that desire, you know, and that desire to be somewhere different to where it is that you are now. And if you're able to do that, chances are that you are setting yourself up for, you know, for future growth, which is awesome. You want to be working intrinsically on something that you want to be doing, and you want to be able to focus in on that. But every now and again, you're actually going to set yourself up for a letdown as well. You set yourself up for a minor challenge or a challenge, and all of a sudden you hit an obstacle. Now, if that motivation isn't strong enough for you to keep going, you'll give up. You will give up because you've hit an obstacle. It might be your first rejection of the book that you've sent out to publishers. Well, no one wants it. It could be something as simple as that. And you just stop doing what it is that you want to achieve because of that one initial So if you don't have the level of motivation that you need, you're going to stumble and fall at minor challenges, setbacks, obstacles. It doesn't take you much to throw you off track. And that's because the level of motivation that you have is shallow. So, and of course, that's a problem. It's a problem if any little problem is going to throw you off the track of where you want to go. And pair this, right? So combine this with the fact that we're living in this digital age, where increasingly our attention span is decreasing. So we end up with people spending their lives doing stuff that they think will take their lives to the next level. But they quickly realize that they're really just spinning their wheels because they're busy, but they're not productive. They're not effective because the motivation is potentially around being seen to be busy as opposed to internally understanding that I'm being effective. And this is the shift that we need to make, because real motivation is powerful. And it sets off this deep yearning and internal desire to build something greater than ourselves. Something that sets off our own purposeful actions to build something of consequence, something of significance. And this is powerful. When you're truly motivated, you look at your life based on principles and priorities. You dispense with the busy stuff. That busy stuff that sees you spinning your wheels, that doesn't take you anywhere. You look at the big picture. You look at your purpose. You revisit your why. So instead of just getting bogged down on the day-to-day, you try and figure out what it is that you're here for and what it is that you want to achieve. And that is when your motivation of being greater for you having a primary purpose for why you are here is the one that I really want you to tap into, because that's where you start to see lasting change and lasting benefit in your particular life. So do you see how this works? Tapping in to a greater purpose. Stop taking motivation for granted. So whether it's the fact that you think you don't have one or that it's all going to start tomorrow, and focus in on what's truly meaningful for you, because this is how we achieve greater results. So if you want to achieve greater results, there's resources out there that enable you to achieve greater results. And of course, we've got the psychology of motivation as a course within the Coach Girl Academy. So even some of these resources that are available out there don't need to cost you thousands of dollars. People think that attending a seminar from some of the world's leading gurus is the thing that's going to be a catalyst for change in their life. Believe me when I tell you, the majority of people that attend that get a short-term buzz, get the goosebump effect, but don't do anything with that. The vast majority of people that do that. This is about creating your daily focus and your daily actions and following routine and structure to get to where you want to go. If you want to lose weight, guess what? You're going to have to exercise and you're going to have to eat healthy foods. And you need to be disciplined about that. There's no easy pill. Going to a Tony Robbins seminar won't help that. Because on a day-to-day basis, you need that discipline, structure, motivation to keep yourself going. Find that meaning in your life. Find that purpose. And of course, the Coach Girl Academy is available for just $1 for the first 30 days. So there really is no excuse. Tap into what that looks like for you. I hope you've enjoyed episode 133 of the Coach Girl podcast. Don't stop taking motivation for granted. Whether you think you don't have it, or whether you believe it will mysteriously appear tomorrow. Just stop taking it for granted. Understand what it is that you want to achieve and just get out there and start doing what you need to be doing. As always, a big thank you to the team at Think and Grow Business, our major sponsor. They're improving the performance of people in business at all levels. So check them out at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au. Don't forget, I've written a book. It's called Seriously Simple Stuff to Get You Unstuck. It's available at Amazon or at my author's page at tonycurl.com.au. And, you know, potentially most online booksellers have that book in stock. So go check it out. It's a really simple read about reducing complexity in life, complications, and just looking for that simple process that's going to get you going where you need to go. I've already mentioned the Coach Girl Academy. It's over there. Just Google Coach Girl Academy. $1 for the first 30 days, and then, you know, depending on the maximum that you will pay is $19.95 a month, which will give you access to over 70 programs that will strengthen your leadership, your business, and your mindset. So one of the best value academies out there, and it's available now. So go check that out. We launched that just over a year ago. So really proud of the way that it continues to progress. So go check it out, Coach Girl Academy. As always, a big thank you to our new sponsor, Totally Builderall. They've got a totally integrated digital marketing platform, web pages, landing pages. You've got sales funnels, you've got CRMs, you've got mailing chimps, all for one monthly fee. It's incredible. The platform is really cool. And that's just, a handful of things. There are so many things available on the platform for you as part of just one low monthly subscription. So go check it out, totallybuilderall.com. The link's in the description. And as per always, you are standing stronger, braver, and wiser. And don't ever forget the golden rule. Yes, you know what it is. Just don't be an arsehole. I'll see you next week.